Well, hello there and welcome to issue number 122, and this issue is all about the Aquarian Ox. As you can see on the caption prior to the video, there's all the dates you have to be in to be in this Western Eastern astrological combination. Always be careful with the Aquarian because it always gets chopped into with the Chinese New Year, so you really have to study those dates very carefully to check that you are of this combination. Okay, well, let's start straight away with the Aquarius Oxen as a child. Now, we've spoken about the Oxen being quite a serious child and pretty pragmatic, likes to go about their studying, go about their business in a real sensible way. They're quite a quiet child as well. They're just real sort of thinkers and a little bit slower, but they always know that the long route is the right route for them, so they don't get so anxious, and they know that they've covered everything very thoroughly. Well, if you bring the Aquarian into the mix, and the Aquarian child, well, they're quite a mixture, aren't they? You know, they're very bright, but they can have moments of quietness, and they can have moments where they can't stop talking. So they're a little bit, you know, when they like their mind to be active very, very much all the time. Not necessarily physically active, but they mentally like to be stimulated, and they can go into quite thought processes. But what tends to happen is when you bring the two together, they sit very nicely together actually, and what tends to happen is you get a very spiritually aware child very early age. They're very spiritually aware in the sense of kindness to animals. They become vegetarians and vegans normally quite young. This is a combination that doesn't need meat. I know it sounds everybody needs an X amount of protein, anything like that, but the Oxen can very often do without meat, and normally do, because they're very happy with their veg and their herbal stuff. They really enjoy that, and especially mixed with the Aquarian. Now they're very socially conscious. They like fair trade, and even when they are getting into those college years, university years, which I'm no doubt that they will follow, they'll be very conscious of what they wear, things like that. Was it a fair trade country? Is this the right thing to do? Is it the right thing to shop there? Because what do they sell? So they're very spiritually and socially conscious, and it makes them a real fascinating character. I say moments of real quiet, but their thoughtfulness, but the spiritual nature of them. They always know when they're needed. They always know when their friend is down, or a person, an acquaintance even. They can tell. They have a knack of telling when they're low, when they're down, when they're sort of like not spiritually feeling great. They have a real good knack for this. They very much enjoy yoga as well, getting in those channels, and really a nice freedom of thought, which it really helps the Oxen a bit, because as we've spoke about the Oxen, they can get a little bit stuck in their ways with their thought process. They don't tend to make decisions quickly, and the Aquarian helps out a little here. They're quite determined. They quite know what they're gonna, what they want out of stuff, whereas the Ox can deliberate for a very long time, and when they make up their mind, they're never budged. That is the Oxen. But with this in the mix, there's a nice flux between, if you can convince me that what I'm doing is wrong, hey, I'll go with it. But until then, I'm very happily sticking to my principles, a very principled combination. And as I say, everything from, what products they buy, hand cream, etc. like that, they're very animal orientated as well, so they really dislike anything, as say, the killing of animals, animal use products, etc. like that. So you're going to see somebody here who is really at one with themselves and especially nature as well. They're going to really enjoy that to the full. They're going to love walking off. They have good close friends, but they may just be walkers. They might just love walking, by the beach, in the countryside, just observing, just sort of chilling really. They get very, very, you know, fulfilled by just doing that. And as I say, male or female of the Aquarian Ox, you know, relationships aren't first and foremost. I've got to be honest with you, they really aren't. You have to understand this character, that little things, if they, you know, necessarily are they going to go out with somebody who's totally opposed to what they do, as in the sense of live and let live. Well, the oxen, part of them, may sort of not allow that as much. You know, the Aquarian's very much free-flowing, but the oxen may not probably go that far in allowing somebody, okay, who delves into meat, who delves into, I don't care where it's from, but it was cheap, or whatever. I don't think that'll be allowed for them. So it's really going to be somebody who is like-minded, absolutely, and somebody who they're going to be spiritually looking to enhance. You know, somebody like that who's willing to probably yield more to them, which you know, they'd be fantastic with, they'd be very happy with. They are a good worker, but they do need this thinking space, as I've said, and sometimes I do need a spell where, you know, I really think they're great to work from home, or great to work from home character, where they're, you know, they could get into their thinking patterns. They may not be surrounded by things that could get them slightly uptight. Thoughtlessness, for instance, rudeness would really, in the workplace, they're not really ones for that whatsoever. They could get wound up and you don't get the productivity from them. So I suggest them working from home. For a company, that's fine. Great to work for themselves. And as I say, if they're in that sort of mindset of the office where there's, you know, banter that isn't very tasteful, they can take harbourage and they will get the hump, and, you know, it's likely that, you know, they will stick around because they're stayers, they're not quitters, Oxen and Aquarians aren't. But, you know, you're going to get quite a grumpy, silent person rather than get that real fulfillment that you should get out of them with their great minds, and that, you know, that flux and that flow, and that, you know, and just a nice person. You know, they're not out to get one over on anybody, they're not out to rip anybody off. They're just a real good person with their own quirks and their own way of living, you know, which I think is best that they're, you know, they're in their own environment, for them to feel happy, even, you know. So who are the combinations that I feel would be best matched for the Aquarius Ox? Well, I really think the Rooster, because the Rooster, excellently hard worker, a little bit eccentric, but will, you know, sort of enjoy the Oxen, you know, thoughtfulness. They will have quiet times together, but they'll have some real, you know, fantastic associations in the mind. There'll be some quiet things where only a look between them and they just know, and they're buzzing and they're feeling it. It's very mental there. And with the Rooster, he enjoys the bedroom. Let's be honest, the Rooster enjoys the bedroom. Maybe they can warm up that part of the Aquarian Ox, you know, which, once they've done all their thinking, they've done all that worrying about, you know, how the world's going, how's the, you know, people of this world coping, and they need that little bit of caring, they need that little bit of caressing, and a Rooster can get the best out of them, absolutely. So let's look for the Aries Rooster, the Gemini Rooster, the Libran Rooster and the Sagittarius Rooster, all very good strong matches there. And also the Snake, because the Snake is very supportive, they're very yielding as well, they're very adaptable, and the adaptability and the secrecy as well of the Snake really does help make the Oxen feel as though, you know, when they're being quiet, they're not sort of like looked upon as a bit of an oddball or anything like that, because the Snake's very accepting. They love the little quirks of the Oxen or the Aquarian. They love that. They sort of think, hey, you know, you can be as free as you want. They will yield to their partner very much so. They'll call around and they will just, bask in, and they won't take advantage of the ox either, because there will be a lot of respect, and that's what you're going to find. And yet again, the snake has the ability to break down maybe that little bit of coolness in the bedroom side, and caressing, etc., and really sort of make them feel at ease and at home, which sometimes they don't always feel like that. When it comes to being tactile, etc., you have to really bide your time a little with the Aquarius Ox. So, and the snake has the patience, and it's a fantastic match as well. So let's go for the Aries snake, the Gemini snake, the Libra snake, and the Sagittarius snake. Really, really good. And the ones we have to avoid for the oxen, as always, is the goat. And whereas we've got the nice mixture of the Aquarius Ox, which has made them, as I say, slightly more rounded in the sense of, they're open to ideas. When they come across the goat and vice versa, they just don't click. Yes, the goat's an excellent worker. We can't get away from that. The goat will toil, but they're a little bit bohemian in some styles, maybe a little beauty conscious, maybe a little bit conscious about their own inner self, whereas the oxen may be looking upon them as you're a bit sort of like in your own cloud here. You're a bit like concerned with what's going to happen to you. I'm trying to think of the good of us and around us and the planet, etc. So they don't click. They just don't. You end up with a nasty sort of situation on your hands here, where one's looking at the other one as being selfish, and the other one's looking at the other one as being, stick in the mud. Whenever one want to have a bit of fun or a bit of a laugh, I just can't break down their barriers, and they don't know how to sort of make each other click, and that's as simple as that. In the health sense, the Aquarian Ox, well, it's going to be problems with the legs here. Unfortunately, the oxen can be prone to rheumatism, and the Aquarian can be affected by circulation trouble, especially in the limbs, lower limbs, varicose veins, etc., like that, and they can, they've got to be very wary there, and thrombosis, that sort of style, is from the leg down. We're talking from the knee down. It can be very problematic for them. So, as much as you love your full Aquarian Ox, try and do those exercises. Try and go on those long walks, or get on that bicycle. Go with your friends. Go with those same-minded people, because that exercise is very, very important for you to keep you strong on your legs in older age, which can fail you. So, okay, thank you for listening to this issue, and please join me for the next one. Thank you.